In the heavyweight division, contemporaries sometimes are silent as to what's happening at the top of the divisions, and sometimes contemporaries can speak out. And we are seeing it be very much so when you take the likes of Del Boy from the UK, Derek Chisora, as he has been weighing in on the upcoming Fury versus Usyk rematch. Del Boy has had plenty to say throughout his career, and sometimes his words can be very much respected because he is a veteran and he has been in there in the thick of battle, win, lose, or draw. And his thoughts on Usyk versus Fury 2 are quite interesting and compelling at the same time. So let's take a look at what he's had to say regarding this upcoming fight, the rematch, Reignited, Usyk versus Fury 2. When we're talking about the heavyweights, understand that Derek War Chisora has been around the block a few times. The 36-year-old veteran heavyweight has seen his share of battles. And seeing that he's fought both men competing in this upcoming December 21st heavyweight matchup between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, the second time around. Reignited is as the fight has been billed. Chisora has weighed in, and according to an article published in Boxing News 24, link will be in the description, Chisora doubts Fury's motivation and training for this rematch. You see, before we get into the article and what Chisora has to say, off the top of the bat, the sentiment is greatly toward Tyson Fury and his efforts to come out and correct the wrongs of the first fight. But going into the first fight, I had always determined that Alexander Usyk is the best fighter that Tyson Fury has ever faced in his career. And understand that Tyson didn't have a standout amateur career, which means that most of his opponents have been pretty much handpicked. However, he did take on the likes of Vladimir Klitschko, not giving Klitschko the rematch that he deserved as a champion that relinquished his title to Fury. And he fought Deontay Wilder, we know, in a trilogy of matches that actually the second and third fights had to be forced. Fury didn't want to take on those fights beyond after the first go round. So when you think about it, Tyson Fury has been really walking around the fringe contender aspect of the heavyweight division. And the fights that he has faced, actually, when you talk about world class, there hasn't been a lot of them, including War Chisora. War Chisora has been a fighter that's pretty much been a journeyman heavyweight, but definitely not a trial horse. But he is a fighter that when men have faced him in the ring, he's been able to either bring the truth out about them or they raise questions about where they may find themselves. And as I said, being 40 years of age now, but 36 when he took on Alexander Usyk, just think about what he was able to accomplish in his career. He's taken on the likes of Joe Joyce, Tyson Fury, Joseph Parker, Usyk. He's taken on Dillian White, Carlos Takam, Ajit Kabiel, and there have been other fighters throughout his career. But there was a trilogy with Tyson Fury. So when he's speaking on Fury, he knows exactly what to say regarding Fury. And the article goes as such. Veteran Derek Chisora says he doesn't believe that former heavyweight champion Tyson Fury can win his rematch against unified champ Alexander Usyk on December 21st. Chisora feels that with the way that the 36-year-old Fury, who's 34-1 with 1 draw and 24 KOs, is training for the Usyk fight, he's not going to be victorious. He says the sparring partners are in awe of the Gypsy King Fury and not pushing him. In contrast, Usyk is working hard, starting fast and finishing fast. His record now is 22-0 with 14 KOs. And let's not forget that Usyk was once the undisputed champion at cruiserweight and has yet to meet defeat. Chisora is right when he's talking about Fury and whomever he's bringing into his camps to spar with him, because yes, he runs it as the former heavyweight champion of the world, but he also garners a great deal of respect, and probably there are rules to vet around in the camp that you don't hurt him, you don't do certain things, and you can stick around and continue to get a payday. But a great sparring partner is supposed to bring the best out of who's hired him for their services. Will Fury have that type of competitiveness in his camp? It remains to be seen. We do know that people like the likes of Joseph Parker, who has become quite solid friends with the Fury camp, may have given Fury good work from time to time, but that friendship, that whole thing about wanting to be the best, even Parker has come out and said he wouldn't want to fight Tyson Fury in a match. Well, I'm sorry, Ali sparred with everybody and fought a lot of the guys that he sparred with. That's a thing that separates Fury from Ali, amongst hundreds of other things. But as Chisora goes on in this article, and it states, he says he points out that Usyk knows he can hurt Fury. In their last fight on May 18th, when he had him on roller skates in the 9th round, and he'll be coming after him with his power game. Usyk's Hitman theme for the rematch suggests that he's coming to erase Fury and take him out December 21st in their fight at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh. You know, when I saw Usyk walking out after the ring announcer called him to the dais, the first thing I thought of was the Hitman. And I was like, oh, the bald head, the red tie, the dark navy suit. This guy is coming out like the Hitman, carrying the briefcase and wearing the black gloves. Throughout the press conference, he was being asked what was up with his appearance and everything, and though Usyk said nothing regarding the questions being asked, you had to be in the know to recognize that. Tyson Fury came out, baseball cap, sport jacket, bearded, and really laid back and affable. But I do now believe I understand Alexander Usyk, his personality, and his approach to the boxing game. He understands he needs to entertain, and he does do that in his own little way. His lack of cooperation when it comes to being asked questions during the press conference, I find quite intriguing, because though he does understand English, but speaks it not as well as he may understand, he does recognize that saying less is more in the case of himself. And as he told Fury going into the first fight, "Don't worry, Tyson, I won't leave you alone." See, some people may have taken that as he won't abandon him in the ring. Some people may take it as giving the impression that he won't stop nagging Tyson or what have you. But what I took it to mean was that Usyk had a plan to be in there with Tyson until the very end, whether the fight ended inside the distance or at the final bell. And a fighter who has made a commitment like that, you have to understand that it's a difficult thing to turn away when that's your challenge in front of you. Fury has to be befuddled that he made and ridiculed Usyk for being a smaller guy and being someone who didn't have a lot of power, and even referenced him as a rabbit for running or whatever. But when you saw his jeopardy in the 9th round of that fight, suddenly Usyk looked a lot more formidable than anything since Fury faced Deontay Wilder and was in trouble in those fights. I hearken it to be something that, for a man who has had that fringe contention and has dined on non-elite heavyweights, all of a sudden Alexander Usyk appears larger than life. And Fury's confidence had to have taken a tremendous blow. Will he be able to recover from that? Who knows? Once Usyk goes upside his head, he could revisit the negative aspects of what transpired in their first meeting. You see, when a guy isn't truly confident in himself, which is a scenario that Fury has had issues with in the past, his own self-confidence, it could turn out to be something very difficult for him. Now, when you think about what Chisora has been saying, Chisora has been in fights where he has been outpointed, he's been knocked down, he's even been stopped. But he has always committed himself in the most violent of ways to get right after it when it comes to facing his opponents. And I expect his words to somewhat ring true in his assessment of what he's noticed about Fury. What he doesn't point out, the article says, is the obvious. Fury is one of the ultra-rich now and soft and doesn't have the serious hunger that he once had in his career before he became wealthy. Fury is one of the richest boxers on the planet with an estimated net worth of $140 million, which will soar to $200+ million with his rematch against Usyk. He can't get motivated like he once did, hence he's still fat with a month to go before the fight, wearing his trunks high to cover his middle-aged bulge. Fury is old and fat and no longer willing to suffer and deny himself the comforts of being one of the nouveau rich. Fury is like one of those guys that strikes oil on their land. The money forever changes that person for the worse. Well, you see, that may be true according to what the article in Boxing News 24 is stating about Fury. But I disagree because I feel that the Fury of today is still the same Fury of when he was not wealthy. The only thing the wealth has done is given him more access to whatever his personal desires and pleasures are, as well as inciting some of the demons that may have plagued and followed him. So character, which I always speak about, be at the edge of things with Fury. It's not going to matter about the purse. It's going to matter about what's inside. And it is time for him to either decide to be a champion and stand up and fight, or to pack it in. And someone like Chisora knows, because Chisora is still willing to continue his career even after losing to the likes of Joe Joyce. His prediction: do I believe Tyson can beat Alexander? I look at the way he's going in sparring camp. I don't personally believe that with the sparring partners he's got right now, that they're pushing him to be a menace. They're in awe of Tyson, said Chisora to Seconds Out about his doubts about Tyson Fury's ability to win the rematch with Alexander on December 21st. They will pull their punches when sparring. These are the things I'm seeing. What I'm seeing that Alexander is doing is completely different. How I think Alexander is way more like start fast and finish fast. He knows he can hurt him now, so he's going to come and try to hurt him. He keeps saying that he won't leave him alone. See, that goes back to my comment about what Alexander said in their first meeting. I would love Tyson to win, but right now, those odds are not looking great, said Chisora. There's a lot that can determine whether a fighter wins or loses a match. But one of the things that fighters need to be, even though they may lie to the public, they have to be honest with themselves. And I don't believe that Tyson Fury has served the better interests of himself. He has not been honest with himself. And he knows that he has cut corners throughout his career. He didn't give Vladimir Klitschko a rematch when Klitschko deserved as a champion trying to regain his title. He wasn't given that opportunity. Fury is being given an opportunity by Usyk that Fury didn't give anyone else. He was forced by the courts to fight Deontay Wilder a second and third time, but even in those circumstances, he still took the initiative of doing things that disrupted the, let's just call it the energy of those second and third fights. I didn't like that. I spoke about it at that time, and it has now come to pass, so it is in the past. But Tyson Fury has received his wake-up and reality check from a cruiserweight, no less. A man whose name can now be elevated to the point of another former cruiserweight undisputed champion who became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world preceding Alexander Usyk, Evander the Real Deal Holyfield. So it is going to be men like that who have come through in the way that they have, Usyk and Holyfield, that history will look back upon fondly, and not necessarily the likes of Tyson Fury. But let's just say that Derek Chisora has a keen eye and interest in this. And though he supports his countryman, he's been one of the most sincere about what's on the horizon for this. But what do you think? This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think about what Derek Chisora had to say about this rematch. Leave comments and let's discuss further. Yeah. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.